Rice, I think, is the most basic building block to any cuisine. And in the Levant, we have a very special kind of rice called Ruz Bil Sha'aria, which means rice with noodles. Specifically, we use vermicelli noodles. It's a very distinct kind of rice. I don't really see anyone else in the world making rice like this. It has a very distinct flavor. It's very nutty, it's very fatty, and to me, it's really just very nostalgic. It's extremely easy to do, not a lot of work at all, and it's a nice way to kind of change up from like basic white rice all the time. This is a really simple recipe, so we should get through this pretty quick. First things first is the rice. Whatever some might tell you, use whatever rice you like. I always go between Basmati rice and Egyptian rice. The texture of each is different, so it really depends on what you're making. You should choose between the long or short grain rice. But for us, the short grain rice is the typical everyday choice, so we're gonna go with the Egyptian rice today. But the recipe is exactly the same regardless of which rice you choose. And for this recipe, the minimum I would do is 1 cup of rice, which is good for about 2 to 3 people. Add the rice to a large bowl and start washing it. The goal here is to remove as much starch as possible, and since Egyptian rice is very starchy, I'm going to wash it about 5 times. Place it under room temperature water, agitate it a bunch to get as much of the starch off, and then drain. Repeat that until you see the water looking clear, and then I'm going to fill it up one last time with room temp water again and set it aside to soak for about 20 minutes. This will soften the rice and it helps you get a fluffier result. And then after 20 minutes, just strain it and set aside. Next, we move on to the sha'aria. These are vermicelli noodles. They're wheat noodles that you can find at pretty much any Middle Eastern market, even online if you want to go that route. Measure half the amount of noodles to rice. So I'm doing 1 cup of rice, so I'll measure a half cup of the noodles. It doesn't have to be exact, it's just like a rule of thumb. And now we turn on the heat. Place a pot on medium heat for a few minutes to warm it up, and then traditionally we add half or a whole tablespoon of ghee, let that melt and heat up. The ghee adds an iconic nutty flavor to the rice. It's what makes this rice so iconic. But if ghee isn't your thing, I understand. I would go with a neutral oil like avocado oil or canola oil or vegetable oil. Once it's warmed up, drop the noodles into the pot and they should start to sizzle right away. We're going to toast these noodles until they turn golden brown. This happens pretty quick, so it's important to pay attention and move them around often so they don't burn. I'm going to let this play out so you can see how fast it actually turns brown. That took about 2-3 minutes, so yeah, pretty quick. Make sure you keep an eye on it while you're working. Don't walk away, it will probably burn. Next, we're going to add the rice to the pot. Salt it as much as you like, and for this amount of rice, I do about 3/4 teaspoon of salt. Mix and toast with the noodles for a few minutes so that everything gets coated as much as you can with that ghee. Don't rush this step. The better you mix and toast everything, the better the result's going to be. You want that ghee to really coat the rice as much as possible. And light toast marks on the rice just gives another layer of depth and flavor, so don't be afraid here. I always double the water to rice ratio, so since I'm doing 1 cup of rice, I'm going to add 2 cups of water. And you want to use hot water so the temperature of everything stays hot. This will get the rice cooking immediately rather than cool down. With cold water, then the whole pot, you have to wait and let it all reheat. It just takes more time, and I honestly think you get a different result. So this just makes more sense for me to just use hot water right off the bat. Once it's simmering, drop it down to a low heat, cover, and let it cook for about 10 minutes. By then, all the water should be absorbed. Open and fluff up the rice, and then cover it again and remove it off the heat and let it steam by itself for another 10 minutes. And that is literally it. It's very simple. It just needs a little effort, a little TLC, and then you're left with this beautiful, fragrant, nutty, fluffy rice. This is really nice if you want to switch things up from plain white rice. It's very easy to do, and I hope you give it a try. This smells incredible. I love this. Oh yeah. Wow. For anyone who wonders if washing your rice matters, it matters so much. It's so much fluffier now, you know? Usually this kind of rice is extremely sticky, but when you rinse it out, you let that fat really get in between everything, and like you get a very fluffy and fatty kind of rice. It's my favorite thing ever. Oh my god. One more bite of just rice, because I can't keep doing this. Ruz Bil Sha'aria, very simple, very easy, very delicious, and a crowd pleaser. This is our like everyday kind of rice. Sometimes we'll go in between just like white rice and this, but I think in my family at least, more often than not, this is the kind of rice we eat. And I love it. It's so good. So I hope you give it a try. And till next time, peace.